everybody. Happy Monday or happy Spider-Man No Way Home Day. What a 24 hours I guess it's been. Maybe a little bit longer. That's just insane. So we have a lot of really interesting things to discuss today. Thank you everybody for joining. I want to give a shout out to new member Karori. Anyone who joins during a live stream gets a shout out. And to answer Karori's question, you're not just becoming a member for this stream. You can participate in the entire month's worth of streams. I know summer's been a little wonky with streams, but I'm going to be getting really back on track this week. It'll be, I think, most of Labor Day weekend. Hey, Felix Young. That's an adorable profile photo. And then when we hit fall, I'll be doing them the amount that I'm supposed to. All right, so everybody, thank you. Don't worry, I'm not going to be actually talking about any of the leaks, but I'm going to talk about a lot of people. I was surprised when I was looking at comments yesterday, don't know a lot about scoop culture. Hey, The Last Millennial and Raymond Wilson, thanks for joining. That's funny one. I won't tell anyone. Hey, Zachary Barge. So I thought I'd explain it a little bit to you and just kind of go over the situation. And again, the trailer is supposed to drop tonight during Sony's presentation, which is between 9 and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually taking place at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, so that's 6 to 9, and then they're supposed to have a lovely dinner afterwards. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know if the trailer was originally going to be released to the public, but I think that it's pretty safe to say with the leak yesterday of the actual trailer, but also Tom Holland on social media saying, you ain't ready, I think it's going to come out this evening. You never know. It's been really crazy with this Spider-Man situation. Hey, Justin Slater 24. In the past, when I've talked about trailers dropping, I've been definitive about it, but I mean, I think this is the closest I can get to actually giving you a confirmation. So, I mean, if you watch the leak, you saw it. I mean, that was an old copy. A lot of people were like, oh man, the VFX team must have worked like crazy to get that out, to have a trailer for tonight. But that's like, although, I have to say, it's unfortunate because of the situation, what it means for people professionally, but just from an intellectual standpoint, I thought it was pretty interesting to see how much is VFX, right? Hey, Don Allen, NCA. I think some of the stuff was previs. I think that it was interesting to me also that they might have used a lot of previs in there because they didn't have the footage ready to go in. So some of the stuff that looked like you were like, what is this? Looked like 90s computer graphics. Hey, Nathan, Nathaniel Rubio. I believe that might be previs, which is put in there so you can kind of get the pacing of the trailer. So, although there was some stuff, hey, Ben Pello, like Doctor Strange is in it. And so they showed his sanctum. And I was like, do you really not have any actual sanctum? So there are some things where you're not sure if they're just like, they're putting in, layering in effects. Like, for instance, there's one character in the trailer, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil who it is, who had like this like face mask on, like a face mask. And I believe that's to de-age that character. So don't put any spoilers in the comments, please, because I think, some people are trying to avoid them. But I believe, so it was really interesting to get a look at that. It's just unfortunate the way it was done. And as I tweeted last night, I've never seen anyone burn a source like that. I thought that was just absolutely incredible and a huge betrayal of trust. Okay, so let me walk you through it to a degree. I can't tell you everything. Oh yeah, I didn't say it was story A. All right, boop. All right, sorry. All right, so I want to walk you through what I can share with you and give you a little bit perspective, from an industry and company perspective. Hey, Michael Escuriaza, welcome. All right, so again, as I said, that was an old copy. Now, you might not know this, but a lot of scoopers are very close friends. There's like a scoop cabal. We'll call it a cabal. And like, for instance, one of the reasons, like the very first scoop that I ever had was, was about the lineup of the actors, the characters that were going to be in Birds of Prey, that it was going to have Cassandra Cain in it and stuff like that. And I had been unaware that that was supposed to be like a birthday scoop for somebody. So that kind of gives you an idea of like the way the scoop community interacts, you know? So like they'll share stuff with each other, which is crazy to me. But that's why you'll see there's some things. Justin Slater 24, did you just join? I don't think you did. Hey, Catalin. So basically, that's why you'll have some things that everybody knows, that everybody's heard. It seems like every scooper knows about it. But then there's some stuff, like my stuff about Ms. Marvel. And, you know, I have to tell you, this is when it's tough for me, because when nobody else knows the stuff that I have, people are like, oh, nobody else is reporting that. And it's like, yeah, because they don't have the information. Like, I was right about Ms. Marvel. I know that another site did find out that she would have like purple glow powers, but I told you she wasn't going to have the stretchy powers, and no one else was able to say that. So, hey, Trent Menson. So there's different types of scoops. There's like real scoops, like I'm very proud, thanks to my sources, to sometimes have. Like, I know the end of the Batman, and nobody else seems to know that, right? So, but then there's other stuff like the Spider-Man trailer that everybody knew. Like, it was shocking. I didn't know how many people had information about the Spider-Man trailer until I tweeted about it, and people were like, oh man, somebody's already talked about this. And I was like, really? And so people sent me links, and I was like, wow, they not only talked about it, but they told you everything. I always just give you teases because I don't think it's good to outrightly ruin something. But I think that's the way this things are kind of going into some degree. Like, you might recall that recently somebody put out the entire plot for Matrix 4 because there was a screening, which was really weird. Like, an entire plot for Matrix 4, and, you know, Warner Brothers had it taken down. But for Spider-Man No Way Home, I've seen on Reddit and now in a couple of videos, people putting out the whole movie. And I don't think you want to know that. I think you want to be a little bit surprised. So that's why, you know, it's a fine line. You know, you just have to feel it, you know? And so that's how I look at spoilers. Now, I was wondering, so before I talk about, you know, why everybody wants these so much, let me talk about the trailer specifically. So, hey, Gabriel Esquivel. So I saw a lot of people thinking that this was just like somebody like going out on a limb, being like, I'm gonna, you know, like YOLO, and like putting out the trailer. And it might have gotten that way because everybody seems to have shared this, which was really crazy. Like, this seems to be something that maybe made the rounds. I don't know. I'm not a part of that scoop cabal. As one of you pointed out, they tend to be, you know, kind of assholes. But anyway, that was kind of like making the rounds, and like everybody had the description. So I saw a couple of people say, well, hey, now that we just have, you know, the descriptions, what's wrong with actually seeing the trailer itself? Well, I'll explain it to you. First, from like a creative, like kind of moral from a creative perspective, it's one thing to hear about something, it's quite another to actually see it. Now, to some degree, you kind of didn't see it anyway because the VFX were so unfinished. But still, you know, I said two characters were fighting. Now that you've seen the leaked trailer, you see where they're fighting. You know, I knew where they were fighting to some degree, but I didn't say it, but now it's out there, right? So you kind of don't, you know, I think the description is very different than seeing, right? Seeing is believing. Then here's the other problem. You only give out a description to protect your source, right? I mean, here's the thing. There are people out there who want to participate. They have some fun information. They share it through a scooper, and a scooper puts it out there, hopefully not sharing everything, and just has everybody excited. You know, like, that's how I view it. It's like, you know, you want to hear the chatter. You want to keep people talking about it. So to burn that person by putting out the video that has the watermark on it, that's where things become really problematic. Because before, the studio can be like, I think it was an inside. Well, there's two ways the studio can go. They can go like, I have no idea who freaking leaked this. Holy crap. Hey, Lena, welcome back. Or a studio can be like, I have a pretty good idea, but I'm not sure, right? So that's like the two ways that or I've heard studios go, we know it's an inside job, but who knows who it was. That's usually how it goes. But when you leak something like this, they go, I know almost exactly who it was, because their freaking name's on it. Now, I don't think that person is the one who did it, because nobody would leak something or share something with their own name on it, because they'd be crazy. But you can kind of pinpoint, you know, you have a very substantial lead, and that's really bad. And so to do that to someone who trusted and shared the trailer, of course, they did take a tremendous risk. But as I said, I've never seen anyone burn a source like that. I've just never seen it anywhere in any kind of reporting. I've never seen anyone burn a source like that. I mean, you're talking about someone who will not only lose their job, but would not ever be able to work in visual effects again, their chosen field, because they'll say, why aren't you at your past job? So that's a horrible thing to do to someone. Also, I want to point out that hurts the company overall. Even though they had nothing to do with it, the fact that they didn't catch it, hey, Tristan Mayer, really penalizes the entire company and everyone who works there, because they might not get any more contracts from Marvel or Sony because they'll say you don't have good security. So it's a really horrible thing to do. And so that's kind of like what it is. So that's just basically the situation. Now, one other thing I want to touch on, and usually I save interaction for the end, but I'll let you ask some questions here. I think I said hi to you, Tristan Mayer. So anyway, I've been wondering, why are people so hungry for spoilers right now? Well, I think that Marvel's very good, by the way. Marvel really only shows their stuff in screenings to a close group of family and friends. So, and nobody wants to get their loved one or friend in trouble. So by leaking. Hey, Ryan Calloway. But the problem is that there are so many people who see these other projects and now are working on them. And there's a lot of people getting into the scoop game because all you really need to know is somebody who went to an early screening and is willing to break their NDA. So that's kind of what's happening here, right? So there's a huge number of people who want the information from a professional perspective. And then also, Chad pointed out, hey, CJ, that it's the pandemic. People are sitting at home and they want their movie. I saw many people online say, hey, it's taken so long for them to release this trailer. Sony gets what they deserve. I think that's I can understand where you're coming from, but you're not thinking about the business elements of it, okay? But, Sony held the trailer because I think they probably weren't sure exactly when they were going to release this movie, but now their hand is forced, although they were waiting a really, really long time. But yeah, it's just, so I think people want the stuff they've waited so long for. And some people don't mind spoilers, but the problem is that it's impossible to contain spoilers. So you have to be really careful about it. It's really tough. But I haven't seen people this hungry for spoilers in anything recently. Shang-Chi, Black Widow, even Loki, even WandaVision. Even on WandaVision, people were like, they had some horrible leaks on WandaVision though, by the way. But even for WandaVision, most people were like, don't tell me. But with Spider-Man, everybody, I don't know if Tom Holland stands are driving it or what, but maybe it's the fact that Toby and Andrew are returning. Maybe that's what it is. And if that's the case, then Multiverse of Madness is just going to be like a post-apocalyptic fight in terms of like people being like crazy. So I'm really curious to see what happens. But that's just a little bit, just to give you an idea of how scoops work. I think everybody enjoys them, but that just gives you a little peek behind the curtain. So I hold questions usually till the end, but I'll do like 5 minutes of questions on this because I know that's what a lot of you tuned in for, and you might have a burning question right now. That's very sweet of you to say, Brian. Nobody should get fired for a scoop, and I feel awful that will most likely happen. Hey, Chance S. Oh, I'm glad you like my tease system. There's a little bit of a delay, so I'm asking for you guys, I'm asking for questions on this. Noah Carter. Ben Pello says there's Daredevil in it. I told you I was the first to report that Daredevil was coming back and would be in this movie. But nobody ever gives me freaking credit for it. But yes, Daredevil will be, I don't know if he's in the trailer. There's a shadowy figure that looks like maybe it's him, but I reported a long time. Hey, Danelle, Daredevil is joining the MCU, and it'll be partially in this movie. He's also in the She-Hulk show. And I know other stuff about that I was sworn to secrecy. You're going to be pretty happy about it, though. That's the other thing. I knew about the Spider-Man trailer description, like right like months, over a month ago. And I didn't tell anybody to protect my source. And then lo and behold, a bunch of other people just didn't care. The lack of care for sources is incredible to me. Hey, Jorge. Hey, Shatman TV. Let's see here. Felix. Felix has a question about the leaked trailer. Felix, I do think that I think Sony was probably surprised that the biggest reaction to the leaked trailer were a lot of story questions and that characters were maybe acting out of character. And I had heard that the trailer was only medium, but I didn't want to tweet that because I felt I would get such blowback. But I think now that some of you have seen it, I think you can see where that criticism is coming from. Is it the strongest teaser trailer they could have done? Hey, the moon. I don't think by far it is. I think that a much better trailer could have been cut. Mika says Henry Cavill is possibly in the Flash movie, yet there are no leaks. I can tell you that as of at least a few weeks ago, he has never shown up on set. I know that for sure. Maybe he'll come in and post, fly by, I don't know. But I can just tell you that Henry Cavill hasn't been on set for the Flash. That was something that somebody made up. Noah, you don't have to donate. I appreciate you even asking that. But just being a member is great, I run ads on my videos, I don't want to ask too much of you guys. Although merch is coming. Merch is coming. I just had a phone call on it today, looking at the site, finalizing it. The first round of merch will be dropping extremely soon. I can't wait. I hope you guys like it. I'm very happy with what we designed. Ryan says, is Sony in charge of cutting the trailer only, or does Marvel Studios have a say? I think Sony takes the lead, but I would suspect that Marvel will probably give them some advice. I will say that based on what I saw of the trailer so far, it looks very much like a John Watts directed movie. Okay, here's something interesting. It never occurred to me, and I'm going to talk about this tonight. I better make that note before I forget. I'm used to seeing these characters in a Sam Raimi movie. Hey, Sharmia. But they look real different when someone else films them. And it almost seems off. And it makes me wonder, if somebody besides Tim Burton films Michael Keaton as Batman, is that weird? Right? It's just really interesting to me. And this is just off the leaked version. I'm curious to see if it feels that way in the main one. Michael says, why does nobody give you credit for your scoops or predictions? You guys do, and that's all that I care about. Let's see here. Sufjan says, do you think Tom Holland and Zendaya's relationship is real or PR? I think it's real. I don't think they would do that. Zendaya keeps it real. I really love Zendaya. I'm a fan of both of them, but I really like Zendaya. I believe Emma Stone is in the movie, but I can't confirm that 100%. I don't feel confident enough to confirm that 100%. I'm happy to hear that, Amaro. Do you guys have any more questions before I move on to the next story? Evan says, no, not Evan. Mexican 8 Nacho says, will we be discussing the story of No Way Home once the official trailer drops? Story seems a little weak. I will only discuss what's in the trailer. I might hint at something that I know, but I don't want to ruin the movie. So I will certainly be talking about story points in the trailer breakdown. I hope they don't drop more than one trailer tonight, because that would be a nightmare for me. But Spider-Man No Way Home would obviously have the priority. Hey, Mike's Thoughts About Stuff. That's a great name. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to do a reaction and then I'll do a breakdown. And I'll try and do the breakdown as fast as I can. I think a lot of other people on YouTube edit live with a green screen behind them, but I have this window And so that's why my videos take a little longer to edit. Hey, Suncoast Prime. I know it takes me a little longer, but I think it really makes it a better experience to have the more stuff in there. Hey, Devin Pullins. It takes me a long time to edit my videos. So see, some of you guys know stuff, but I don't want to ruin it for you, for other people. All right, let's go on to the next story of the day. All right, so everybody, let's thank you very much. I thought that was great. I hope that you guys, enjoyed getting a little bit of information about that. One last question. Food is my friend says, is it possible for this particular scooper to get in trouble if the sources says who they were? Maybe. They'd have to be able to prove it though. So, I don't know. Most people are pretty nice. Like, I would imagine that person's just really worried about themselves right now, which is really sad. They don't deserve that. You know, I think it's important to remember this all comes from, I don't want to point something out. A source has no personal gain. They don't get any credit. They don't get anything for it. It's just a love of the stuff. That's where it comes from. It comes from a love of the stuff. So, I really feel that there's supposed to be a layer of protection from the reporter who should know what's too much to share. And to protect that, I have gotten top secret photos and I have not shared them with a soul because for fear they would leak like this did. Because I have to protect the person who gave it to me. All right. I just take it very seriously. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Woo, what a story. All right. Second story of the day. Boop. That Angelina Jolie boy, still a star. I can't believe it. I'm so impressed. So Angelina Jolie, last we heard, she had a total flop with the second Maleficent movie, and she was harassing Brad Pitt. People were applauding Brad Pitt. They were giving nasty looks to Angelina Jolie. They were like, all he ever wanted was kids. That's the whole reason he left Jennifer Aniston. Why are you trying to take his kids away from him now? And so everybody was feeling pretty bad. And I didn't know if Angelina Jolie would be able to recover. But damn it, she's on fire. So Angelina Jolie, just the other day, joined Instagram. And she, as you know, who just said? Lloyd said, I followed her immediately. Who here follows Angelina Jolie on Instagram? I just have to wait for you guys to catch up to me. Oh, look at this. Oh, Keith says no. Bug says no. But otherwise, Jerome is just totally not on social media. I'm impressed. Well, you're one of millions. Because Angelina Jolie, not like someone like Harry Styles or something like that, but Angelina Jolie is the fastest ever to reach 1 million followers on Instagram. I can't believe it. And not only that, she didn't stop there. Hey, Anthony Strauchs. She kept going. She's now at 8.2 million followers. Here I have a little screen grab of it there. She's only following 3 people. I didn't even check to see who they were. I'm not really big on, I have an Instagram account, but I'm not a big Instagram person. I like Twitter because I like the interaction of Twitter the most. Trying to do more Instagram. But that's just amazing. That's a great photo of her. And I have to say, she's very on brand already with her 2 posts. She's, of course, talking about Afghanistan, which is a tragic, horrific situation. She's at 8.3 since I took this photo. I took this photo literally like half an hour ago. That's amazing. So to see some of you guys go over there and join her right now. Good for you. It's a party over there. So, eventually she'll probably promote some of her stuff. I think she'll probably have some family stuff on there maybe. But right now she's really putting a focus on Afghanistan, which I think is really, really important. But this is incredible. Hey, Mike Zhang. So this is just incredible that she would continue to do so well. And she's being used to promote Eternals almost exclusively. I used Richard Madden on my shot-by-shot breakdown because I didn't have another good shot. Well, he had laser eyes in that one. So I was like, everybody loves laser eyes. But she's the one who gets the most attention. And she's you'll notice whenever anybody has a picture of Eternals, they use Angelina Jolie. Who's front and center on the poster? Angelina Jolie. And she needs a hit. She really needs a hit. But if you're going to get a hit with anybody, it's with Marvel. So because she's coming off of Maleficent, Angelina Jolie's always struggled a little bit at the box office. She's always been someone who sells more stuff, like clicks and, magazines, so I guess this makes sense with her doing so well on Instagram, than she has in actually selling movie tickets. But I think in the right project, Paul Newman has a famous quote, which I like to use all the time, where Paul Newman says, in the right project, I'm priceless. And I feel that Angelina Jolie action is what everybody wants to see her in. So I think Eternals is fantastic. And who just brought that up there? That's right, Jerome. It is still Angelina Jolie versus Gal Gadot. So Angelina Jolie feels that Gal Gadot is a threat to her. And that's because they go up for almost all the exact same roles. Who is Wonder Woman? Gal Gadot. And sure enough, what does Athena look like? Wonder Woman. Now, she's blonde in the comics, but that works out great for Angelina Jolie because it gives her a distinction from Wonder Woman. But I gotta say, she looks a lot like Wonder Woman. Very much so. She's just the blonde version, the blonde and brunette version of Wonder Woman. But, hey, Erica, but Gal Gadot was going to replace her, Angelina Jolie, in Bride of Frankenstein. But unfortunately, Angelina Jolie is very close friends with the head of Universal at the time. And so she got that person to shut that down. And now we never got a Bride of Frankenstein movie. But it was all set to go with Gal Gadot. So that's there. And now who's going to play Cleopatra? Well, of course, Angelina Jolie was infamously supposed to be playing Cleopatra a long time ago. Remember speaking of Sony, remember their first leak? Boy, Sony has a bad history with leaks. But remember the one that got Amy Pascal fired and, well, now she's thriving as an independent producer. But remember that? And then they were talking about a potential, and Scott Rudin was going to produce that movie. And now, of course, he's gone through a huge scandal. But, Hollywood's a small town, as you can see. But they talked about Cleopatra very much so. And so that was supposed to be Angelina Jolie's big role. Because, of course, everybody wants to follow in the footsteps of Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor didn't want to play Cleopatra either. But when Fox asked her at the time, she said, yeah, I'll do it for $1 million, sarcastically. And then they came back, which was an unheard of amount to pay an actor at that time. And then Fox came back and said, okay, we'll give you $1 million. And Elizabeth Taylor was like, oh, okay. And that's how that happened. But Elizabeth Taylor played Cleopatra at a different time. I know that there's some feeling that Cleopatra had Greek heritage, but I think that Gal Gadot is like crazy to take that role on. And I have to say, based on some scenes in Wonder Woman 1984, I think somebody might be right about her acting skills, unfortunately. So I don't really know if she could do this. And also, I'm worried about Patty Jenkins' judgment after Wonder Woman 1984. So I don't know how that's going to work. I think that she might have made a very big mistake. If I knew Gal Gadot, I would have said, for the love of God, don't do this. Lady Gaga should have done it, and she still might in that competing Cleopatra project for Sony. That's still alive. But I know that Lady Gaga is not either of the same area either. But I think also Cleopatra was not like a supermodel, even though that's how Hollywood likes to depict her. Cleopatra was in fact someone who was very sexy because her personality was like really incredible. So that's something that I think really works for Lady Gaga. So I think she's perfect for the role in that regard. I really would like a more realistic depiction of Cleopatra. I mean, we're talking about the stuff about her being delivered to Caesar in a rug, smuggled in a rug, was like one of my, I loved it. Keith says, what? I thought you loved the acting in Wonder Woman 1984. You literally cried from it. I did. I think that Gal Gadot did a fabulous job in some sequences. And of course, that scene when she and Chris Pine have to say goodbye to each other again, I thought was beautiful. But I still think in some other scenes, especially when she was in the museum, interacting with Kristen Wiig and stuff, I would have refilmed those. I would have refilmed them as many times as it took to make her do a better job. Because, talk about protecting someone. A director's job is to protect their actors and make sure they look good. And Patty Jenkins should have been like, you look bad here. I cannot allow this to ever see the light of day. So anyway, I think that Angelina Jolie wants back into being a big movie star. And I think that this is if I were a producer at a Hollywood studio, I would see this and I would be like, wow, people still like Angelina Jolie. Maybe I should hire her. I mean, that's what people want to see. The studios want to see evidence that you have a following, that you can get, hopefully sell tickets, but at the very least get free publicity for their product. if your cast tweets or posts or Instagrams about the project that you're producing, that's free publicity for you. So that's what you want. They'll never make Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2 now bug because Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie hate each other. I don't know. None of us were on that plane, but I thought, I really like Brad Pitt. I think, people have problems. I think I'm a big fan of Brad Pitt. But you know what? I'm willing to get back on the Angelina Jolie train. Let's do it. Let's do it. You're making that up, Chance. Is she really at 8.4 now? Let me check. Let me see. I won't believe it if she really is. She is. Heck, I'm going to follow her. I just followed her. Why not? I love a good party. Hey, Ishiat Ahmed, welcome. So, absolutely hilarious. Finally, the sun stopped blaring behind me. It's fantastic. All right, you can see me a little better. All right, so that's the second story of the day. So I hope she has a lot to do in Eternals, and I hope she does a great job. She's a bit of a voguer. Some actresses like to vogue, and I always think it's a bad idea. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Angelina Jolie is extremely successful. Extremely, extremely successful. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Now, the third story of the day, I'm so happy about this. Boom, baby. Third story of the day. Princess and the Frog, Princess Tiana to kick off when did Princess Week become a thing? I don't even know how I feel about Princess Week being a thing. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what that does for feminism. Although I do love me some Disney princesses. But anyway, they kicked off Princess Week this week with our first look at the Princess and the Frog redesign of Splash Mountain. And they didn't show as much as I'd hoped. But they did have this nice picture. Hold on, I got a better picture for you to say. Look at that! Oh, she looks so great in her little explorer outfit. Very Jungle Cruise, by the way. Very Jungle Cruise. So that's Tiana and Naveen. They are married now, prince and princess, and this will be taking place after that. Some people said they were worried that meant that Dr. Facilier might not be able to show up, but he's just on the other side. He'll show up. How could you not have him show up? He's incredible. So now I have to say, some people are really against redoing this. I don't see how you could be against redoing this. I think that Song of the South is a movie that's so offensive in its depiction that Disney won't even show it to anyone. Like, they put a warning in front of some stuff on Disney Plus. They won't even put Song of the South up there because it's that bad. And it is really bad. So while Splash Mountain is a great ride, although there are alligators sometimes in the water there, I did not know that. I found that out like a couple of years ago, and I was pretty shocked. Like little baby ones, but I was like, holy crap. I always get so wet on this ride. But anyway, they have a problem. So I think that, and also I think the caricatures, the depiction of the South is also offensive. So I think they're making the right call to rebrand this. And, they're doing it a little bit like they did the Norway ride in Epcot. They made that a Frozen ride. I feel kind of bad about that, though, because I liked the Norway Pavilion ride. But the Frozen ride is really well done. So anyway, they're going to do Splash Mountain as Princess and the Frog. And The Princess and the Frog is such a wonderful movie. Talk about not getting enough credit. That movie doesn't get enough credit. I love it so much. It's the last hand-drawn 2D animated movie that they did at Disney Animation. It just really holds up. I watch it all the time. For a while, it was one of the only Disney movies on Netflix before Disney Plus launched. So I would watch it a lot then. And I've watched it again since. I watch it. In fact, when I was in the hotel, I was in Los Angeles when the pandemic started, and I was stuck in my hotel, and I wanted to cheer. I was like, oh my God, it's a pandemic. I can't believe I'm living through this. So I had to watch movies that were on demand, and I see so many movies. I'd seen everything that was recent. So I decided to watch Princess and the Frog and Tangled. Those are the two. I mean, they've had those around a lot. Those are the ones that are around a lot, and they are fantastic. So I watched both of those. And they have an amazing soundtrack, which is one of the reasons it's such a good choice for Splash Mountain. So, Dark Savior says, Winnie the Pooh was the last 2D animated movie, technically. Okay, you're right. The last Princess 2D animated movie. But anyway, Dark Savior, thank you for pointing that out. All right, so anyway, they're saying that what's the theme going to be of the new Splash Mountain ride? It's that Princess Tiana, thank you very much, is throwing a Mardi Gras party, the ultimate Mardi Gras party, and you're invited. Oh my God, thank you. I can't wait to go. I mean, I saw some people saying like, oh, I don't want to go on it if it's not, the way it was. But I feel that I actually never go on Splash Mountain when I'm at Disney World now, to be honest with you. I mean, I only have there are no more fast passes anymore, but I've never gone on it. But now that it's a Tiana ride, I'm definitely going to go on it, like a lot. I'm very, very excited. Now, they said they're going to be new and old friends. Now, I follow Walt Disney World News Today on Twitter, and they caught this, and they did a very good job. And you can see there some critters in the back there playing instruments. And this site pointed out that it's very easy for Disney to simply glue an instrument into the hands of the animatronics from Splash Mountain and have a band. And I'm like, that's true. So they're probably going to save some money that way. But that means they're going to make Tiana and Naveen animatronics, and I'm pretty excited about it. The aerial animatronics don't look so good, I have to say. And also, I'm very sad that all the animatronics in Disney World are breaking right now. I don't know if they're cutting back on costs or if they don't have enough people in maintenance to upkeep them, but I've seen numerous animatronics online broken over the past few days, and one of them was Ariel. Although you guys had some funny jokes about that though. One of you said, somebody on Twitter said, do I have to pay $15 to get the ride to work fully? And I was like, that's pretty funny. So anyone who has anything bad happen to the Tiana animatronic is like nuts. Like, I'm glad people film this stuff and put it on social media, because you got to shame Disney into doing the proper upkeep on these parks, because they're extremely expensive. They should be running properly. But anyway, they did this announcement at Dookie Chase's restaurant in New Orleans, where the founder, Leah Chase, who unfortunately has passed away, was one of the inspirations. She lived into her 90s. She had a great life. Was one of the inspirations for Tiana, and her daughter Stella was there on board. And I thought that was really nice. But as many of you have already been writing, how is there not a restaurant attached to this attraction? There needs to be a restaurant. I want my gumbo, I want my beignet, and I want it to be a character meal where Tiana walks around as the chef and Naveen's playing his ukulele. Oh my God. I'm so upset that there is not a Gaston character experience within the tavern for Gaston, because they made it too small. You can see Gaston, meet him outside, which is like pretty neat. But I still feel I should be able to do the sing-along with Gaston inside. But yeah, I don't know if there's space for a restaurant in Walt Disney World. They have lots of places to put a restaurant in Disneyland because they have the whole French Quarter there. And I think they are actually maybe doing a restaurant. It was revealed, hey, William Lane, that they were kind of like reimagining an area. So, boy, I would just love that so much. Jason says, put near the exit of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I would take that. Or you know what they could do? The Pirate and the Parrot. There's like a little seasonal place they could put it in there. Heck, I'd take Pecos Bills and I'd make it Tiana's if I needed to. But that's a fast food. I want it to be table service so I can have the character meal. I really want I'm a big Disney fan. But that would be huge. That would just be, and Mardi Gras, New Orleans, by the way, is not only famous for its food, but for its brunches. So to have a Princess Tiana buffet, I guess they could maybe actually do it at the Crystal Palace. Would I do that? Winnie the Pooh is pretty special over there. But maybe I would consider doing that. Maybe I would do like Winnie the Pooh dinner and Tiana for breakfast. Maybe I just do Tiana. Maybe I do it. I think that the Crystal Palace would work. That's maybe what I would do. Because Disney doesn't want to, they want to save money and get things done faster. But yeah, but you're right, Lloyd, be our guest. Hey, Jacob Herrera. I'm getting really deep into my Disney stuff because I love Disney so much. But I realize not everyone is as big a Disney fan as I am. So let's get to the question and answer section of the day. And then we shall be done with today's stream. So let me get this off of here. All right, it is 4:55. You can ask me anything you like until 5:05. And then I must go. Juan, I would love a Little Mermaid date reveal this week, but they're not presenting at CinemaCon. I don't know. That would be great. Let's see here. Michael, I did not watch Nine Perfect Strangers. I felt it was a little too similar to the White Lotus, so I was like, I need a break from that, but I heard it was excellent. Hey, Logan S. Mike's thoughts on stuff says, will you let us know if the trailer that's leaked is different from the official trailer? Of course I will, but I believe it's going to be the exact same trailer. Hey, Black Canary fan. George Alexander, my Candyman review will go up on Wednesday when the embargo lifts at 12 noon. Right smack in the middle of my working on my, although this week's What If, I think, is the weakest What If to date. So I'm very curious to see how people react to it. What If is not really connecting. I feel kind of bad. Let's see here. Julia says, what are the chances of a Scarlet Witch movie? I think you'd get a Scarlet Witch season 2, a WandaVision season 2, with getting maybe her family back together, or at least her family is back together, before she got a movie. I do feel that maybe you would see Wanda being used more to be the secondary character in someone else's movie. We'll see how it goes with Doctor Strange. Also, let's see where the character ends up after this journey. But don't worry, Wanda's not going to go anywhere, because she's just so insanely popular. As she deserves. Let's see here. Danelle, you weren't excited about What If, even now that you've seen it? I think because it doesn't have enough ramification in the actual MCU for some reason. I think people don't like it for that reason. Chad says, Grace, in my opinion, it should be an actress of color. Cleopatra is Egyptian. Thoughts? I don't know enough about the history of the character because I know some people have claimed Greek heritage, but I do agree that if I were producing Cleopatra, I would use an actress of color. I think that it's time. I think it should definitely be a Mediterranean actress. I feel that it's very important to have that representation. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much, but it's, just think about with historical figures where they actually came from, and they would look like the region that they were in. I'm using that for religious depictions as well, but I don't want to get into it because some people take their Bible illustrations very seriously. Mike says, what episode from Behind the Attraction did you like best? I love the Space Mountain and Tower of Terror ones. I've only watched 2 of them so far. I watched Jungle Cruise and Tower of Terror, and they were both absolutely phenomenal. I don't watch them as much as I should. I'm savoring them more. I don't watch them as fast as, I should watch them a little faster, to be honest. Lucas says, are you happy on how the Batman ended? No, I personally hate the ending of the Batman. I hope they change it. Whoever approved that made a big mistake, in my opinion. But it's based on a writer's work that I have never really personally liked, even though that writer's very successful. So even though I dislike it, others might like it. But I hated it when it happened in the comics, and I'm surprised. Did they, J. King? Where did they quote me? Is it online? Oh. If you're wondering, whenever you see a Disney movie, they ask you at the end to fill out forms. Send me the link, J. King. Where's the link? I'm so annoyed that people always sometimes say that I have favoritism. I said Simu Liu was a weak lead in the movie. I mean, I'm really honest about my reviews. Where's the link? Instagram and Twitter, like their official account? I just want to know because I'm going to retweet it when we get off. Top tier Marvel. I did say that. It's tricky to get, you would think just saying something nice about the movie would get it to be a quote, but that's not true. So you got to really think about this stuff. All right, I'll go look at that. I did use that in my Rotten Tomatoes thing. I don't even remember if I put that in the form. There's a lot going on right now. It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. McKay Zodi, no word on Fantastic Four. Eli says, did you see that Let Me Explain part of your Free Guy interview in his video? Who's Let Me Explain? I genuinely don't know. I'm asking. I don't know the clarification on that. Let's see here. Grazer says, can you do a 30-minute synopsis, breakdown, and review of Succession 1 and 2? I got to tell you, I really appreciate that you guys ask me stuff about some television shows. But I want to let you know that I don't cover some shows. I feel good about explaining this. So some people were like, why do you cover all these Marvel shows, but you're not covering Titans and Doom Patrol the same degree? That's a really good question. The reason is that there's just not as much demand. If those videos performed at the same level as the Marvel videos, you better believe I'd be making a video per episode. I'm going to be covering, The Boys is as popular as Marvel. I'll be covering The Boys season 3 every week, and I was so impressed with the way Invincible did by the end that I'll be doing Invincible season 2 every episode as well. But the DC stuff, for some reason, just has too small an audience. I hope Harley Quinn, that audience grows at least, and maybe the HBO Max shows from the movies will do better. But there's only so many hours in the day. So I'll float something out and see how it does. But if it's not really, really big, I just can't continue to cover it the same way. I will do a review at the end of the season, though, and do a spoiler review. Let's see, who just asked me that? Jay King says, will Tom Cruise be Iron Man in Multiverse of Madness? I can't 100% confirm it, but I do know for sure that he was talking to them about it, as I reported over a year ago at this point. And I do know that he took a break right when they were filming it. He had to take a break from making Mission Impossible. He was like, hey guys, I got to go back to the States for a little bit to do something secretive. So I can't confirm it 100%, but I would not at all be surprised if he showed up. And it would be marvelous. Sion says Star Wars shows as well. On the ones that are popular, I definitely will. I do all the Mandalorians, and I can't imagine I wouldn't be doing Obi-Wan, and I'll certainly be doing Boba Fett. But Star Wars The Bad Batch is another one that, people just don't care about. It's weird. Some people do, but it's just not, I did a beginning and end review. And I have to say, even that was it was really almost like I was happy to do something nice for the fans of the show. And I did enjoy the show personally, but just no interest. Mike Abner says, Grace, did you see Elizabeth Debicki and Dominic West as Diana and Charles for The Crown? I did. Big Crown fan. And Elizabeth Debicki, oh my God, she looks like she is Princess Diana. But Dominic West I like him as an actor, but he is the worst Charles ever. Especially to go from the best Charles ever with Josh O'Connor, you're like, why did we get this? All right, it's almost done. Oh, thanks, Fidel. That's so nice of you. Thank you. Oh, that's a good one. The Dark Savior says, what do you think of the Batman Catwoman comic? Well, I think Tom King is a real hit or miss writer for comics. Sometimes his stuff is absolutely brilliant, although it has a real sameness quality to it. I think there's one episode left to go of Strange, his Adam Strange comic, but they lost me. It seemed to take so long for it to come out. I'm like, I have no idea what's even happening anymore. But he always pairs himself with the best artists. Clayman could draw anything, and I would read it. And you know what I like best about the Batman Catwoman comic? The relationship between Joker and Catwoman. That they're kind of friends too. That Catwoman's kind of stuck in the middle between Batman and Joker, her allegiances, and like Joker's her really good friend, and Batman's her boyfriend. And she feels kind of guilty about lying to Bruce that way, and in her opinion, backstabbing him. But I feel it's so Catwoman, it's so Selena Kyle that I really am enjoying it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I have to go. I am hoping to do a live stream again tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm trying to at least get live streams up today and tomorrow, hopefully Wednesday as well. But thank you so much for joining. I had such a good time with all of you. As always, for those of you who are members, thank you very much. And if you can't be a member right now, I'm so glad you joined in. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tonight. All right, bye.